Bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth.
Come on.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Hey.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Yeah.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Hey.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
VIP coming live from the VIP. Heard the nightlife, lost life without me. Most feds in the state wanna see my knee. The whole city got pissed. Heard he got three. That other rapper
What's up, everybody? It is Friday, the 25th. On today's show, we have, you might know him as Grimace, but we don't call him that on the show. We call him Mike Leone from the Daily Fantasy Rundown over there at rotoexperts.com. Also on the show is a Mr. I Can Vibe With That, Davis Maddock. So, Davis can vibe with that from his grandma's basement, still there.
Where do you want me to go? I do not have a place. I do not have a place to live until August 1st.
Might be one of my favorite stories I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, you didn't tell me how moving went.
Oh, I'll tell this. Did I tell this story on air yesterday?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
All right.
So
later when I'm
I'll tell you later.
Tell me.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
So guys, we have just an incredible. Last night's was kind of just a meh night, but tonight is like a night, right?
Yeah, I would think that is a very good way of putting it.
It's very scientific.
Davis is super stoked about tonight. I think more so than anyone else.
Yeah, couldn't be more happy. Could not be more excited.
So yeah, this is the Fantasy Elite sponsor show. So we hopefully will have some sort of draft. Are you boys drafting against each other today?
No, dude, I seriously have no reception in this basement. You're gonna have to do it.
You can go through the website now, dog.
I don't know my password, dog.
Are you? Oh my God.
Davis is like the perfect picture of a college kid right now.
Yeah, no, I am. Also Snapchatting my girlfriend, so
Yeah.
pretty college.
I hope you have pants on. Jesus.
Yeah,
Whoa, Mike.
I don't know. I hear some crazy Snapchat stories.
What do you mean?
Dave, can you read my board?
It says hi, Soccer Dave. I got a board. Did you hear about? I got a whiteboard because you had a whiteboard, and I felt like I need to have one. It seemed like a really good idea.
Oh, but dude, you got to get the here. Look at that thing that holds the markers. You got the magnetic one, or you just got the tray?
Okay, so did someone talk to you about this? Because I definitely got in trouble from my wife because
You didn't get the magnetic one?
I did not get the magnetic one.
Oh my God, it was like $10 more.
And she already had a magnetic holder for it. So she was trying to put it on. She was like, I didn't even know they made non-mag. I felt she's like a teacher and draft or the whiteboard's kind of her domain. I felt like a really big rookie.
You are a rookie.
Well,
Davis,
I went
wait,
with my wife.
Davis, you cannot call me a rookie when you were in your grandmother's basement and you don't know your password. So that's what your excuse for getting out of something.
I absolutely can do those things. It's a pretty normal thing in college towns to not have your lease start immediately and not have anywhere to go.
But yeah, not for me. I don't know if it's
not a normal thing.
I don't know if it's normal also for you not to have arrangements set.
This is my
week. What am I gonna do?
This is my arrangement.
Oh, hey guys, I am moving tomorrow, so I am I totally am not gonna know where I'm gonna be for the next week. So I might be in my grandmother's basement. I might be at this homeless dude down the street's cardboard box.
As long as I can go to Starbucks and set lineups, it doesn't really matter where I sleep.
Oh, cool! I found this guy's cardboard box. It's so swaggy. It's got velvet on the inside. So I think I'm just gonna crash here. Totally.
I mean, that doesn't sound that bad.
It was
TBH.
pretty good impression, if I say so myself. All right,
Not
we
as
got a
good
lot
as
of baseball to
Bailey's
talk,
impression.
so I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I'll try to get into a draft. Someone's got to do it.
All right, cool. First of all, I haven't even looked. Is there any weather concerns? I know,
No.
wind
Weather's
is
blowing out in Coors, son.
Yeah, that helps Coors. There's like 30% chance of rain there, but like who cares? They're gonna play the game, so.
Yep.
And
And-
even that's actually gone now too. So there's no.
Well, and even if it does, the earlier Brett Anderson is out, the better. Because I think I'd have to go check, but I think Ottavino pitched 2 days ago, so maybe he gets skipped. That would be great. Like if Ottavino doesn't pitch tonight, Pirates are going to score 10 runs minimum. Okay, so you and I were talking on GChat earlier, and you were the first person I've talked to today who had Greinke in their lineup over Price or Felix. So why don't you talk about what makes you like Greinke tonight?
Yeah, I just think there's so many
Greinke?
good bats that I don't mind saving a little bit of money on Greinke. He's pitching really well. He's got a 2.80 xFIP. His K percentage is really high, 25%. He's in the best pitcher's park in all of baseball. So I really don't mind
I'm
going
just
that
rolling
route.
my eyes so hard right now.
This is ridiculous, really.
It's very unlikely only to take like a contrarian stance too. Like most of the time, he would just
with
lock
pitching?
in one of Price or Felix.
Yeah, I'm usually
Yeah.
chalk, but I like Alex Wood so much that I think he's like a core guy on like all sites.
Even on FanDuel.
Yeah, even on FanDuel.
So you would play him over and just get Kutch and Moss and whoever else in your lineup.
I mean, even with him, you can't go like super crazy. But yeah, you can get McCutcheon in and some Colorado
No.
guys. I'm usually not a big spend on your outfield guy. Rarely do I come on the show and tell you to spend. But tonight is like the opposite. This is the most I'm spending on outfield. You've got McCutcheon, Stanton, Carlos Gonzalez. I know Fink's going to play him. So just tons of, high upside, high priced outfield plays that. And the thing with Wood going against the Padres are terrible. Like when people say they're bad, like look at the weighted runs created plus rankings on Fangraphs versus left-handed pitching. They have a 64 as a team. The Mariners are like 29th with an 84. Like the gap between the 11th place team and the Mariners is equal to the gap between the Mariners and the Padres. That's pretty nuts. And they just traded arguably their best hitter.
I definitely think that Alex Wood is a great play tonight, and I think if you don't use him as your second guy on draft day and DraftKings, you're really just asking to like donate money to other people who you are in games with. I just don't understand. I can't imagine fading one of Price or Felix for him on FanDuel. Like it just seems unnecessary. Like that seems like something that you guys would all yell at me about. Like that's unnecessary risk, Davis. Like why are you making that play?
I don't know. You might be right. I'm not like 100% sold. I think it's the better way to go tonight, but I wouldn't talk someone out of playing Felix or Price. I do find it funny that like a month ago, we were telling people that Price was doing well and everyone was freaking out because he was giving up so many home runs, and now they're like, oh, you have to play Price 1 month later when nothing has changed other than luck.
I mean, I don't think Price is. I think Felix is just as good of a play. I'm just a little bit more scared of the Baltimore offense. I think the Red Sox offense is like pretty meh at best.
Yeah, I mean, I got Felix number 1. Like, if we're not taking into account Price, I've got Felix 1, Price 2, Wood 3, and Greinke 4.
If we're not taking into account Price, then why are you including Price?
Oh my God, that wasn't even a good one, Dave.
That
Just-
wasn't even that. Like even for you,
like,
that was.
I'm just
bad.
and everyone saw it coming was like the worst part. Like no one would like had to think about it. Like as soon as you started talking, everyone just groaned.
Oh, no. You know what a groan is? A groan is when there are multiple pitching options, and I hate when there's so many pitching options for a night, because ultimately Davis is going to pick a pitcher, and then the first 15 minutes of lock, he is going to go run. Like here's the ledge, and he like takes a running start, and then like almost is about to jump off. Like last night, Kluber versus
Tyson Ross.
Oh, Tyson Ross. I can't believe I played Kluber over a guy gonna pitch a perfect game.
This is not what happened. What happened is I said I'm a donk for taking Ross over Kluber on FanDuel when I thought Kluber was a better play. And it was like one. It wasn't even bad. I was just like, oh man, like definitely shouldn't have done that. It was not plus EV, and it ended up being okay because the Royals are super scrappy.
It is so painful to talk to Davis the first hour after lineups lock. It really is. Like it takes all of your energy out of you. So I just hope that Davis, you make the right choice tonight and go with Felix or Price. Do not go.
Oh, I'm not going to go with Alex Wood on FanDuel. I think that, and honestly, the reason is because of things that Leone and Dan and Dink have all taught me, which is on FanDuel, starting pitching points are at such a premium that you shouldn't think about it in terms of dollars per point or value. You should think about the starting pitcher who is just going to get the most points. And I think that that's probably Felix tonight just because he goes so deep into games, and even the good hitters for Baltimore are really high K guys. Nelson Cruz, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, all of these dudes strike out at above league average rates. So if they're not causing damage, they're actually probably giving away points to Felix by their approaches at the plate. So I think Felix is probably the guy tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I agree with what you said about the points per dollar thing. I just think in terms of total points that Wood doesn't end up more than 2 or 3 away from Felix and Price.
Yeah, I mean,
and with the game in Coors, and the Athletics in Texas, I'm willing to sacrifice those 2 to 3 points. If it was more than that, yeah, I'd probably be with you. But I don't think it's crazy to think that he matches them or comes close to it.
All right. Well, I still am leaning Felix. I think that Felix and Wood is a combination that you should be using on DraftKings. I think the way to frame the discussion now, I would imagine more of our listeners play on DraftKings and have more of their action there than FanDuel. So I don't even know if this is really a relevant conversation to them. Like, wouldn't you say that's probably true now?
I think DraftKings were in agreement that Wood should be one of the 2 starting pitchers. And, yeah, probably cash games, there's enough cheap guys like Kike Hernandez and, Guzman, who we talked about, where you could not go Greinke and you could go Wood with Felix or Price.
Yeah, I think that there are just a lot of elite options. And I think there are elite value options at every single position tonight, from catcher all the way through outfield, like guys who are batting high in the order with really good lineup spots. Does anyone know who Brent Morrill is? He is batting 8th for the Pirates and is 2.8 on DraftKings. I don't know who that is. I'm going to send Cardi a G-chat and see if he can tell me anything about him.
I think he was supposed to be good for the White Sox and then never was. Or maybe I'm mixing him up with a different former White Sox third baseman.
Frank Thomas.
Oh, yeah, never mind. It's not him. Wrong guy. Did we lose Davis, this connection in his grandmother's basement?
Davis.
Am I running solo?
Davis, are you there?
It's my worst nightmare. I'm running out of the room, Dave. See ya.
Can we talk about that picture above the high soccer, Dave?
Yeah, that's a picture that my wife put up because she thought it would be funny if it was there for the show.
Oh. Well, it is kind of funny.
It's less funny that I said that, though, probably.
Well, I saw Dan commented on it earlier. So, did she color that for you?
Oh, she did. She's a teacher.
Oh, nice. Davis messaged me with just Skype crashed. I'm rebooting and coming back.
All right, well, I guess we'll talk about some secondary starting pitchers then. We kind of hit the main guys.
Yeah,
are you going to talk with me, Dave?
No, let's hit the other guys. Oh.
Well, I think Kiko. I don't know how to say his name, to be honest. Dallas Keuchel, Keuchel.
Keuchel. Let's call him Keuchel.
All right, let's go Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel, 5,400 on DraftKings.
He's
There
a
probably needs
no-brainer.
to be a discussion around him.
He's a no-brainer with if you want to get big bats in your lineup.
See, the problem I'm having is if you're going Keuchel, it's kind of hard to justify not going Felix or Price, but then you're cutting out the best value in Wood. So I don't know. Davis, what do you think? Are you going to play Keuchel in cash games?
Not in cash games, but I think that like a team that could win a GPP tonight is like Alex Wood, Keuchel, and then you literally just go like you can go Altuve, McCutchen, Stanton, Moss. You could go like all of those elite bats, and I know I just said Stanton against Keuchel. I'm calling him Cycle.
Stanton is not in the lineup, is what people are saying.
Well, then he was he was a late scratch because he was in elsewhere.
Okay, well,
That's
we need to
interesting.
confirm that. So don't believe anything I'm saying right now. But
A quick Twitter search will tell us whether or not that's true.
That would suck but I mean, I think that would make the decision on DraftKings easier for me. Like I think kind of the combo that Davis and I were discussing was Stanton and Greinke versus Felix and a guy like Guzman for the Astros. And I just liked Stanton so much I was on that side of it, but if he's gone, that would push me to going Wood with one of Felix or Price.
Well, everything I'm seeing on Twitter, like it's either a lineup with him in it, like no one's saying anything about him not being in the lineup.
You know what it is? I think someone just must have tweeted a wrong lineup, and someone ran with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in there.
they're saying RotoWire has him out.
Well,
Come on,
maybe.
RotoWire. Doesn't Renee write for RotoWire? Renee, what the hell?
Davis,
Well, I also write.
Davis
I
is
also
not
write
writing
for
for him
RotoWire. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
So let's just assume that he's in, unless
Okay.
we get.
I think Keuchel, kind of what Davis was saying, too risky for a cash game, even though that price is so tempting, but absolutely love him for tournaments. One of the best tournament plays because of the bats you can get in.
It is worth noting that basically the reason he had been so terrible before the All-Star break was a wrist injury that limited what he was able to do with his slider, which was the pitch that, like, because he used to be terrible. He used to be a bad pitcher, and then he junked his four-seamer and added the slider, and that was what brought about the results he was getting. But what happened is with the wrist injuries, he couldn't throw the slider as much, and when he was throwing it, it wasn't as effective. But he just talked to Eno Saris like 2 days ago and said that the All-Star break helped him get his wrist right and that he's ready to start pitching like normal again.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean,
I saw that tweet. Sorry, Mike. I don't mean to cut you off, but I did. I saw that tweet. Here's my thing: is a pitcher going to tell Eno Saris that he's still hurting?
yeah, I'm
They have
100%. I'm 100% with Kitchen on this one. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but that's something I would like to see first. I'm not just going to go, oh, okay, he says he's fine now. I'm going to throw him out there. Like, if he pitches really well tonight, next time I'll be like, well, he said this, and then it actually happened, so now I'm okay with him.
I mean, like, for real though, like several times a pitcher has said something to Eno because he's like the guy who's doing this big series on like pitcher grips and pitchers and stuff. Several times has been like, yeah, I'm just not right now. Like it's like he talked to AJ Burnett and Burnett was explaining how he wasn't able to find the right grip on several of his pitches, and that was explaining some of his struggles. Like, guys have been honest with him about their
No,
pitches.
I
now.
know, but I still don't think you're just ignoring the last 5 games because he told Eno Saris something.
I mean, really, usually Davis is not this big of a rookie. Like I'm kind of
Yeah,
surprised.
you hate coach speak.
I do hate coach speak, but that's different than me
Player
looking
speak?
at. No, we're looking diagnostically at a problem. We're looking, okay, so Cycle was really good for 2 months, then he was really bad for a month. What changed? Oh, well, he stopped throwing his slider as much. That was his pitch that was rated best by Pitch Effect's pitch values. Now, if he can throw it more, that's going to make him a better pitcher.
Right, I'm just saying we shouldn't assume he's all of a sudden fine because he says he is.
I mean,
That's all.
Well,
you remember the vegan diet that Mike was going to go on?
yeah, hilarious.
Just because someone says something, doesn't mean I start shipping Mike medium T-shirts. I mean, just because they say something.
Dude, you have no idea. Okay, so maybe like 2 months ago, like kind of close to the start of the season, Mike and I both kind of went on a little cold streak, and every time the night would go bad, he would just text me and say, "I'm getting a cheesesteak."
Jim's Steakout, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other pitchers we want to mention for tournaments? I really think pitching is a really narrow scope today. Like, it's nice to mention other pitchers for GPPs.
Tournament play that I like, a guy that
Zach
I usually
Wheeler.
hit, Wade Miley.
Oh.
K percentage is way up. Phillies suck against left-handed pitching. Grady Sizemore's leading off, so that's like a free couple of strikeouts. Yeah, I think he's a good tournament play, and he strikes out enough where he could at least maybe come close to matching one of the other guys.
I thought you were for sure going to say Zach Wheeler against. I didn't see who was out of the lineup to get Crush up to fifth.
I mean, Scooter's out, so I do see some reasons why you might want to play Wheeler because he's such an extreme splits guy. To face a lineup with 8 right-handed batters is pretty nice for him.
No, Overbay is in for Reynolds.
Yeah. So isn't there still 8 right-handed batters?
Well, the pitcher doesn't count.
Anyways,
7 of 8.
Seriously, do you guys factor in the pitcher's handedness when talking about National League pitchers?
okay, fine. I will rephrase. He's facing one left-handed batter.
There you go. And it's Lyle Overbay, so lols.
Yeah, we should probably talk about hitting. It's 5:30.
Yeah. Well, I was going to give you an opportunity to talk about Zach Wheeler because you love that guy. You like always write him up.
What about Han as a GPP play?
Not wave.
I'm not as high on him as some just because I keep waiting for the K rate to crash down based on the minor league numbers. And the price is kind of like in a point where I don't know if the profit's huge, but I don't know. He still finished like 7th in our top 10 rankings today, so you could. He's not my favorite tournament play, but I wouldn't like hate it. Definitely want to do it in cash games.
So I guess I'm solo on him.
All right, so let's talk about hitters. Looking at stacks. Do you like the Pirates more than the Rockies tonight?
I think the best stack is probably the Athletics. Dave's going to make fun of me for saying Athletics and not A's again, but they're a very athletic group of guys, though.
That's true. Can't argue.
I mean, I hate to be boring, but they have the highest total for a reason. They're one of the best lineups, getting a big park shift.
Yeah. And I mean, they're doing the JSO leading off thing with Lowry batting second, so that's interesting. Definitely. It would be great if Josh Reddick was batting second instead because his price tag is pretty nice, and I kind of need like one value outfielder on FanDuel to fill in and draw Dyson as batting.
Because you're not playing Alex Wood. Yeah, that sucks. Coco Crisp is out though, which makes it a little less desirable. But then you at least get Lowry second, which becomes, I think, one of the best shortstop plays. But sticking with stacks, Stackstros, I can get on board.
Stackstros.
His favorite team to stack. Definitely on board with the Astros, and I think the main 4 teams are probably A's, Astros, Rockies, Pirates.
Yeah. So choose between the Pirates or the Astros, because I can't decide right now which team I want more bats from.
I think, like, you're talking full on stack. Like,
yeah, like 4 dudes, on FanDuel.
One team, I kind of like the Astros more.
Yeah, that's sort of, and that's kind of the way I'm leaning too, which is weird because normally I'm just like all in on cores, but I mean, I wish Jordy Mercer was batting second instead of Harrison.
Yeah, same. But I think you want to mix them in cash games, though. There's no reason not to just mix them.
Yeah, and I mean, your lineup should primarily be coming from those 3 teams. I think the A's, the Athletics, and the Pirates, like in some order, and then
I think the Rockies, for a change, the Rockies outfielders aren't crazy expensive, and they've got the platoon edge. So, and all 3 of them are going to hit most likely top 5 in the order. So,
Yeah, Blackman I think is like an elite value on FanDuel at 3.2. I mean, an interesting question that Fink and I were talking about earlier was Chris Carter versus Carlos Gonzalez, and I imagine that like most people listening to the show, it's Cargo so easy, but like he's just banged up, his mechanics are off. Like I think Carter might be a better play, even for cash games.
Yeah, I think I would take a chance on Cargo. I definitely see where you're coming from, but I think Carlos Gonzalez is just so much better that even if he's banged up, I'm taking him.
Okay, we can start talking about positions. So I think there are really only like 3 options at catcher, and they are Russell Martin, John Jaso, and Stephen Vogt. I know that you probably wrote up Miguel Montero, didn't you? No one loves Miguel Montero more than you.
No, I didn't write him up. I had Oakland catchers and Martin. Then I had Norris included in the Oakland catchers because I think he might go overlooked because of the platoon thing. But actually, the lineup came out and Vogt's actually ahead of him now, so I'd probably leave him out altogether now. I think Montero, I was talking with Drew about this, and Drew was talking about on the show, like, for tournaments, using kind of like the second or third best option at a position who like rates well, but no one's going to take because there's clear better options. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what Montero is for me. I think he's the best alternative if you don't use those guys. So I wouldn't use him in cash games, but for a tournament, I could see it. He's like 2,800 on FanDuel, hitting cleanup against Kendrick. So
yeah, that actually is like a really nice price tag. I didn't realize that he was so cheap on FanDuel. Russell Martin is like crazy expensive though on like every site, and Jaso is more expensive than he normally is too. He's up to 34 on FanDuel, which obviously if you're using Wood, you can take him. But I'm playing Vogt on FanDuel because I have David Price.
Yeah, I like Jaso a lot on FanDuel. Leading off, that feels like some free points right there.
Most definitely is free points. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these conversations are going to be pretty short just because the top options are so obvious. I mean,
yeah, I felt writing today that, I mean, there were a number of options, but the gaps I felt were pretty clear, and hopefully we end up being right.
Yeah, but I think Jaso leading off, like he could get 6 at bats tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, all 3 catchers are in the lineup, so I think that reduces the risk of him getting pinch hit. Or maybe not. Where is he? Is he hitting as DH though? He's probably DHing.
Now he's definitely going to get pinch hit for by Coco Crisp.
Yeah, he's DHing. So now scratch.
Well, I don't know, dude. Like because Crisp is Crisp out of the lineup for rest, or is he out because he's banged up?
Who knows with him? Probably rest, but he gets banged up a lot.
But I mean, also if they're up by 13 runs, he also might, since he's the DH, like he might just stay in the game. It might be. I assume Norris is the one catching because they really like Norris as a defensive catcher. So
yeah.
I think that I would say his odds of getting pinch hit are actually a little bit lower than they normally are, just because all 3 of them are in the lineup.
And he's also
fascinating.
I think so too.
He's also batting leadoff, whereas the other catcher options we talked about are batting like 4th or 5th. So the at bats might end up okay. Some window on my computer is playing noise, and I have no idea where it's coming from.
I hope it's not naughty noise.
It's probably Fangraphs. They have autoplay on Fangraphs.
If you're using Chrome,
yeah, I'm looking for the sound thing. I don't see it.
It's called an icon.
I think sound thing actually is better.
Sound thingy.
All
right, let's move on from catcher. I think we covered.
Yeah.
What about Rosario as I mean, I know he's batting 7th, but if you think that, I mean, Coors wind blowing out 2,700 on FanDuel, I mean,
I will never tell someone not to play Rosario in a tournament. If you want to play Rosario in a tournament, do it. I wouldn't play him in cash games, but so much power upside.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. But isn't Morton, with the way his pitch mix work, isn't he just like death to right-handed bats, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why it's not a cash game play. But if Morton gets knocked out of the game early, then you've got Rosario with some at bats versus other guys that he could just hit 2 home runs versus the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I'm still bitter by the time a guy in the DFBC played Starlin Castro in Pittsburgh against Morton and got 2 home runs. So
worst. Okay, let's talk about middle infield though. So on FanDuel, if you're taking Alex Wood, or on DraftKings, you can make this decision too: Jose Altuve or Neil Walker.
Oh, Jose, easy.
Yeah, see, I think it's easy too. And Neil Walker is really expensive on FanDuel. I feel like maybe FanDuel is maybe kind of feeling the heat of the new DraftKings acquisition, because it seems like they've started to adjust their pricing a little bit more rapidly than they normally do. Like it's becoming uncommon for a guy's price to just stay the same day after day. But maybe that's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Gabby Sanchez is 2,200, so who knows? I think
Sure.
Jose easy. He's like legit good against left-handed pitching and just insane stolen base upside. Going up against the guy that doesn't strike people out, walks a ton of people, really good chance he gets on base. And I mean, he gets on base once, he could hit value, and everything else is a bonus. And
Yeah.
Walker doesn't hit nearly as well from the right side. Like, just factually, he just does not.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like on DraftKings and Draft Day, where I have salary to play around with, I'm using Altuve instead. On FanDuel, I think the guy that I'm using is Enrique Hernandez, batting second for 2.5 on FanDuel. He's also very cheap on DraftKings. I think that he's actually probably one of the better options overall tonight in terms of value.
Yeah, I love him. I think it makes a ton of sense to use him tonight because a lot of the second base guys, even Jose, like his price isn't that good anywhere. So I think it makes a lot of sense to just go with him at second base. And
That's part of the reason that I don't feel that you have to play Alex Wood to get all these bats in, because there are some really good value options on.
oh yeah, I'm
middle
coming
infield.
around. I mean, on DraftKings, I think I might be being stubborn with my crazy loaded outfield, but
Yeah, you are.
but I'm still using these value plays. I'm using Kike on DraftKings. I'm using Dominguez on DraftKings. I'm just going nuts in the outfield because there's so many high upside guys.
I don't even know. Honestly, my prep today has been so short in terms of some of the positions, because I think they're so clear cut, the options that you have to use. So are there
I
any
think
other second basemen that we need to talk about?
Jeff Baker hitting 5th. Park Shift in Houston. Keuchel hasn't been that good the last few starts, and if we're looking historically versus right-handed batters, it's kind of ugly.
Yeah. Okay, shortstop. Truly have not looked at anyone else at this position other than Jordy Mercer. Really, don't
Yeah,
even know what
it becomes
anyone
a-
else's price is.
It's a really tough decision now because he's hitting 7th, and Lowry, who I thought would hit down in the order, is hitting 2nd. I think it's between those two guys for me. And if you want, I don't know where Danny Santana's price is at all, but he's leading off against Danks.
Yeah, Danny Santana actually is. He's pretty good. I liked it when he's leading off. I know that before he went on the DL though, he was pretty expensive. So I don't think that he's probably a value play anywhere. I'll pull up our lineups page to make sure. But so the thing about Lowry is, doesn't he? It's average from the left side of the plate and power from the right hand side of the plate, because he's a switch hitter. Isn't that the way it goes?
I thought he was pretty even. I'd have to check that again.
Oh, we're not doing a great job at this show today. We need Kitchen to talk more. TBH.
I'm drafting right now. Some people remember their password.
He's historically he's been a better average hitter from the left side of the plate.
Yeah. Lowry actually probably is. If I'm gonna step away from my personal biases and the war that I've waged on the side of Jordy Mercer, I'll probably admit that Lowry's probably a better play.
He's hitting 2nd for the highest expected scoring team, and he's cheaper.
So yeah, all of that is good. The only thing I have to say other than that is that Jordy Mercer's gonna dong.
Dude, I love Jordy Mercer. Everyone keeps saying small sample size, but he just keeps hitting left-handed pitching. He just keeps doing it.
I mean, the argument that I have with Derek, and like I've had this argument with him. I mean, David's probably sick of reading it in our Skype chat. It's like I've had this argument with Derek legitimately 10 times. But I think that one, his track record of hitting left-handed pitching better than right-handed pitching extends all the way back to like low A ball in the minors. Like I went on Baseball Reference and looked all the way back.
Yeah.
And second, I mean, the way that Derek's model functions, and it is the way that the book says to do it, is that it really regresses out wide platoon splits, which is, whatever. I'm not smart enough to understand it, but I know that for daily fantasy, guys with wide platoon splits are actually more valuable because hitting against a handedness of pitcher that they don't do well against keeps their price down, which is the case for Mercer. But yeah, I like Mercer is the case where like I don't think it matters that he's hitting seventh because I realistically expect him to hit a home run tonight. Now, obviously, if he doesn't do that, it's not going to be great, probably.
Yeah, I also think, kind of like when I wrote him up today, I said, even if it's a complete fluke against left-handed pitching, which I don't think it is, because if you look at the underlying peripherals, he's not striking out much, and he's hitting for power, and he's hitting line drives.
Yeah.
But even if that is a fluke, the contextual factors are so good, and there's so few other options that it's not like you're minus EV playing him.
Yeah. And I'm probably more like fanatical, or that's not the right word. I'm probably more stubborn about playing Coors players than like almost anyone else. Like I stacked the Padres all 3 days they were in Coors. Like it's just what I just feel more comfortable taking a player in Coors. Like honestly, if that's how I'm breaking it, I know that Arlington is a really great hitter's park too, though.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're both in agreement that those are probably the two guys you want to be looking at.
Yep. Okay. So let's talk about first baseman then. Brandon Moss or Gabby Sanchez is really the question that I think most people are faced with. Honestly,
it's really tough on DraftKings. Luckily, you can play both because Moss has that outfield eligibility.
Yeah.
But on FanDuel, that's really tough.
Really, what it comes down to on FanDuel is if you play Sanchez, you can play McCutchen. If you play Moss, you can't play McCutchen. Like with Felix or Price.
Right. I mean, even with Wood, if you play Moss, it's kind of hard to get all the outfielders that you want.
Yeah.
If you want to play McCutchen, unless you're like really punting in some spots. But
so that being said, I'm gonna pull up Sanchez.
I feel like Brandon Moss is just so good that I feel like if I had to decide, I would go with Moss.
Yeah. I mean, and the problem with playing these min first basemen, and we talked about it when Dan Johnson was min priced on FanDuel for a couple days and everyone was using him, was like it's a home run or nothing. Like these guys are probably striking out 4 times, but if they hit a home run, you're happy. Like that's really what it comes down to. And he
that sounds like something you just made up.
Or heard one of his besties say.
Who is one of my besties?
Dink or Eno.
Stop it. No, I mean because these guys that we're taking
or Peter.
The reason like first baseman in general, the typical model of a first baseman who's going to be min priced on FanDuel is going to be a guy who has a lot of power but doesn't do anything else very well. So when you take a player like that, you're hoping for a home run, but they're normally just the plate approach that it demands to hit home runs for those guys who don't have elite bat speed, who aren't like elite hitters and can't cover the entire zone. Like it's naturally going to be a high strikeout approach. Like
yeah, I mean that's true, but guys that you love like Chris Carter, who are kind of home run or bust and have a high strikeout approach, can be good plays. Like
I love players like that. I love players who strike out a lot and hit a lot of home runs, but that doesn't mean that something that I love is great for daily fantasy.
Yeah,
Swagger
I mean,
B, best example.
So are you saying Gabby Sanchez isn't who you're going with? That's kind of
No,
sounds like where you're leaning.
I am, but I'm doing that understanding that it's a volatile play, that I'm just as likely to get a -1 as I am to get a 5.5.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, I just love Brandon Moss so much.
I mean, he is one of those guys that, like, when the A's went through that little cold streak, I think it was about a month and a half ago, he was still donging. Like, he just is so reliable versus right-handed pitching. He's great.
Yeah, and I mean, Jerome Williams he had like a 6 ERA in 40 plus innings as a relief pitcher for the Astros, and now he gets to start in Texas against the A's. I mean,
Yeah, I don't see this ending particularly well for him. So
I don't either. So I guess I can get my Pittsburgh exposure with either Mercer or McCutchen, and I'd rather go Moss. But on DraftKings, I really like playing both of them.
Gaby and Altuve
What?
versus Moss or Kiki. FanDuel cash
that's-
games.
see, I think you just go Moss and Kiki in a cash game. I really do feel like that's safer.
That's an incredibly difficult decision.
It's honestly.
But
completely
I was
tied.
looking at Batman today. Didn't Cardi have Kike ahead of Jose? Just straight up.
That's possible, but we also don't that. His system doesn't have minor league data, so it's sort of hard. It's sort of hard to value those guys who are new, and a lot of it is based on park factor and opposing.
Yeah.
But
He's in the top 25 right now. Kiki is. So if you're going by projections, then it would say Moss and Kiki, which would be the side that I'm leaning to anyway.
I think I'm with that too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, third base real quick. I really don't think there's many options here. I think you're playing Dominguez.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it's just obvious, dude.
Davis,
I
you
liked
are so
Headley until-
missing out right now on this
I
elite
can't
draft.
believe... Sorry, what, Dave?
I said Davis is missing out on this elite draft because you've got Miami and Houston and Pitt at Colorado.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to play, but I don't have any reception in this basement, and I don't remember my password.
Yeah, we know. We get it. You're a
Okay,
college kid.
well, let us talk about Matt Dominguez and his greatness.
Okay, talk.
I liked Headley until... I have no idea why McCann would bat 5th versus a lefty and Headley 6th. That drives me nuts.
Yeah. Also,
and then
worth
I think
mentioning-
you're right because the other guy I was looking at was Plouffe, and he's out of the lineup altogether. So I will
Plouffe?
adhere to your.
Are you
love to
serious?
make this.
Oh.
Dog. Yeah. Also, Josh Harrison is third base eligible on DraftKings. So if you feel like fading Dominguez just because you don't think he's a very good hitter and want more Coors exposure. I mean, Josh Harrison is a must play on every site, anyways, but he also has outfield eligibility. So get him in wherever you feel like.
Yeah, 2,600 on FanDuel if you're taking one of the top starting pitchers and you still want Coors exposure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do outfield then. I mean, Kutch is the top play. Any projection system's going to have him number 1 tonight.
Yeah, he is. If you looked at the weighted runs created plus versus left-handed pitching since 2012, he is number 1 in all of baseball at any position. And then you throw in the fact that he's hitting in Coors Field. I think he is definitely the guy. If you're paying up for one guy, it's going to be him first.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate picking on Anderson so much because I really have a soft spot for Brett Anderson, but it must be done.
That feels very Leone. That feels like, of course, you have a soft spot for him, but you wouldn't go. I don't remember who Dink was telling me you wouldn't go to $30 for in the NFBC the other day. Alcantara.
Dink made us spend $55 on Inkiarte because he was worried we wouldn't get him, and he hasn't started a game the entire week. He said, I thought we should do way lower, and then I put the bid higher than what I said, but lower than what he said, and he went in and changed it to 55.
That's very dinky.
That is so Dinkmeyer right there.
Yeah. Okay. So
and I
outside
just picked up Brett Anderson in a different FBC league.
Of course you did. Okay,
Nice.
so outside of McCutchen, guys that we're looking, FanDuel, Charlie Blackmon for 3.2, great price. Cargo is pretty cheap there. Dickerson is a little bit more expensive than both of them, almost everywhere.
He is, but I think that's how I would rank them is by their pricing. I think Dickerson's the best, then Cargo, then Blackmon.
Yeah. I honestly I I hate Carlos Gonzalez. Like, he just leaving the games, and his swing is messed up right now, and I just like he'll probably double dong tonight and like make me look like an idiot, but I'm just going with Charlie Blackmon instead, like in terms of Coors exposure on that side.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I feel like between, if you're playing multiple sites, I want to get in like 2 of those outfielders somewhere.
2 Rockies outfielders?
Yeah. Maybe not
Yeah.
together, but I want to have exposure to like at least 2 of them.
Yeah,
in
I
some
think that's
fashion.
I think that's the right way to go about it. But those are like sort of obvious plays, and you're cobbling together with those, and then obviously like really on FanDuel you need to play Josh Harrison. Like you rarely get someone.
See, that's where if you're playing Alex Wood, you don't.
I think even if you are playing Alex Wood, you want to use him batting second in Coors.
He just sucks, though.
I mean,
I think
so,
it,
like
I mean,
lots
I think
of
it's
guys.
a good play. If I was playing Felix or Price, I would have him in. But I mean, let me look at my lineup that I was fooling around.
I mean, like if
like
but,
you
we
could
also,
go.
we
Like
play
I mean,
guys
I've
like
got
Juan Uribe and Coors, dude.
yeah, but like you could go Blackmon, Cargo, McCutcheon, or McCutcheon, Stanton, Dickerson, even.
So you're completely comfortable with rostering Cargo tonight?
At 3,600, you know, I'm a masochist. I'll play guys when their prices reach a certain point. I probably wouldn't play him on DraftKings, where I think you could get Dickerson for pretty close. But yeah, I'm 3,600 on FanDuel. Count me in.
Let's do a friendly bet right now. Chris Carter versus Cargo.
Okay.
I'll let you beat me like 10-0 in FIFA or something.
Yeah. Davis paying up his bets. Not.
I pay at bets that don't involve me singing.
All right. If I win, you have to come on the show.
He's
with
not
a Sammy
doing.
Watkins jersey.
He's not doing anything embarrassing, Leone. He just said that.
No, I just won't sing. I mean, I'm not gonna buy a Sammy Watkins jersey because that's gonna be trash
All
in
right.
4
You
years.
have to come on the show and say that Sammy Watkins is an elite talent.
That's
Okay,
more
fine, then
embarrassing
you-
than singing single ladies.
All right, then you have to come on the show and admit that Jordan Matthews is 20 times the player Sammy Watkins could dream of being.
Deal.
Boom. Chris Carter double dong tonight. Faux show. Okay, let's do guaranteed dongs. Boom. Do your guaranteed and under the radar.
All right, let's see here. Guaranteed, I'm going to go Brandon Moss.
Yep, that's a good one. Under the radar.
Under the radar. Juan Francisco.
That is very under the radar. Okay.
Is that under the radar?
Yeah. Guaranteed, I will go Kutch. And under the radar, I'm gonna go Jose Altuve. No one expects that dude to dong. But
yeah, I'll
he
give
hit
you
one.
that.
He hit one. He hit one the other day when I wrote him up. So I'm just gonna go back to that well. Swag. All right, I'm gonna regret this. What decision are you making with your lineups that you're already unhappy with?
Well, I think the one we've been talking about pretty much the whole show. I'll probably regret not playing Felix or Price.
Yes, you will. What are you gonna regret, David?
I am going to regret probably not going. Probably Keuchel on DraftKings. Probably
Not going.
no.
Like
Going Keuchel on DraftKings.
in cash games
Possibly. It's
instead of Alex Wood.
it's
Look,
possible.
listen to the condescension.
I can't. That's very unlike Dave. Dave is not a risky player.
I know,
Like
I know, but his price is just so low, and I'm not sure if you guys heard, but he told Eno Saris that he's gonna. He's feeling good, so you gotta believe what you read on the internet. It's just kind of a rule.
When has the internet ever led you wrong?
I don't.
Like name one time. Because that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay, can I show you something pretty cool?
Sure.
Okay. This is the interface for the FantasyElite app. So Davis, once you remember your password, you can get on there. But it's pretty cool. It lets you draft. Like you can see, no one's really drafting pitchers in this slate, but it's got all your people right there, and I don't know, man. I really like the way it's come in the past 2 days. How far it's come, like from a design perspective. You can filter by name, which is always good because sometimes typing on an iPad or iPhone with fat fingers is not optimal. I speak from experience. And you can sort by position. You can go to your favorites really easily. It's a really quick and seamless sort of experience when you're drafting. So kudos to Grant and Mike and the team there at Fantasy Elite for that. So I'm drafting in that if you draft tonight, or as soon as lineups lock, if you want to right after that play some Houston Coors action, you can. Just know that there are not a lot of pitcher options available. Just load up on the bats and go with
relief pitchers,
relief pitchers. Keuchel is like the most expensive one in that slate. So, but again, if you're listening to Eno Saris, he is poised for.
I don't understand why you're making fun of me for like bringing like actionable information into this show. I don't understand.
I feel like
not.
this is something that you would make fun of someone else for saying.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But when I talk about during fantasy football season, when I mention that a coach says he's going to give X number of carries,
completely different.
Oh, is it?
I don't
Yes.
think it is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
No, I'm with Kitchen. It's not completely different. Just because you know football more than you know baseball doesn't make it completely different.
Stop.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got some beachfront property to sell you in Idaho, Davis, as soon as we get off this show, since you're being so gullible. I don't know. When I was talking to Eno at the Athletics Stadium...
This is just the worst like segment ever.
No, I'm serious. Steve and I were talking to Eno at the Athletics Stadium.
Name drop.
O.co. And he was talking about some of the players, like a lot of the veterans are the ones that like to talk to him and like don't mind opening up. But some of the younger players have started to kind of shy away from him. That's what he told me and Steve. So I'm not saying that Eno's going to lead you astray. I'm just saying that because a player told him that he felt good doesn't mean you go all in on Keuchel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
No, I mean, but I'm with Mike. I'm surprised that Davis is like taking this stance.
No, because it's just so simple. He wasn't good because he couldn't throw his best pitch. Now he can throw his best pitch. Like, it's literally the most like logical sequence of events you could ever imagine.
What are they going to come up with? Some illogical reason why he was pitching poorly?
It's just like he was pitching really good, stopped throwing his best pitch. Now,
Or how about this? He was never that good, and all of a sudden he started pitching not as good as he did for half of a season.
But there was a real reason. There was a real reason he started pitching. I'm gonna hang up.
It's possible there's a real reason. It's also possible that it's BS, or it's possible that real reason you're talking about is still there and he's not all the way healthy yet.
Yeah.
You know what? It's honestly
just don't
possible
know.
that you're the worst. It's possible that you're the worst.
Hey, today, speaking of just a little football preview, season long, Nate Washington said that they're going to be passing more. So Jake Locker and all your season long leagues later in the draft.
Dude, I literally cannot handle you guys. Like, I can't do it.
Oh, okay. So player telling media something in football different than player telling media something.
Yes, because football players are idiots. Also, football is
I
like...
think what you're missing is we're not saying you're wrong. We're not saying that it might not be true, but like I wouldn't
Also,
put all my
football-
eggs in that basket.
I'm not saying it either. It was an actual bit of information. Also, football is a game of variables and is completely dictated by game flow, by opponent. These things are not true for baseball. There is no game flow in baseball. They're all independent actions. Everything in football is dependent on everything else. That's why football is the worst.
Okay. All right, Davis. So that will do it for today's show. Thanks to Davis and his sources, his inside sources that he has for the games today. So Davis Schefter joining us on today's show, along with him, Mike Leone from the Daily Fantasy Rundown there at RotoExperts.com, where they just lowered their prices for their baseball content. So good stuff. I get to hang out with Mike twice next month.
Yeah!
So happy. So happy.
I'm pumped. We're going to... Fink is scaring me. He's going to get us killed in Vegas. He's talking about raging Friday night.
No. Steve, trust me, being in San Francisco with Steve, he's like the most cautious person ever. Public transportation scares him to death.
Well, luckily we can just walk everywhere in Vegas.
He spent $170 on an Uber from Oakland to San Francisco because
that happened.
Because he did not want to take
the train took like 25 minutes.
He did not want to take the BART from Oakland to San Francisco because there were lots of scary people and it was at night. So Steve is a puppy dog. He is. So his version of raging is like sitting in front of a TV in a hotel room and getting excited about his players that do well.
He says we're going to Tao. I can't wait to meet Fink.
It's a trip, dude.
Basically, what you see on the internets is what you get with Fink. There is no difference. So yeah, that will do it for today's show. Thanks to Fantasy Elite for sponsoring the show. If you have time, check out again FantasyElite.com/dashboard. And if you're having troubles with your password, then let the support guys at Fantasy Elite handle that. So, hold on. Okay. Now, I'm getting... What's that? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting word that I need to get off here because some players telling me some cool stuff about tonight. So, maybe I'll share with you guys...
I wasn't even using Keuchel before, but now I hope he throws a complete shutout. Honestly.
Well, he's 100% healthy. He said so he's probably going to throw a perfect game.
Yeah.
I would ask him, though. We'll see what he says if he thinks he's going to throw a perfect game.
So on behalf of Grimace and the most gullible daily fantasy baseball player ever, thanks for tuning in on today's show. See you on Monday, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Michael, you're so cute with that picture in the background. You really are.